Now let us see the summary and analysis of chapter 6. On Monday morning, Tom finds himself on bed and he hesitated to go to school. As we people on Monday, every Monday, we used to hesitate to go to college or school. We'll be very tired after spending the 2 days holidays. So like that, Tom also does not want to go to school that morning. So he wanted to play a trick. He wanted to cheat his Aunt Polly. So what he says means he felt as if sick. He acted actually, he pretended as if he is feeling sick. So he attempts to avoid school by playing tricks, sick, by groaning and moaning. My tooth aches, my tooth aches. அப்படின்னு அவன் கத்துறான். Okay. He awakens the sleeping boy, Sid also, who is lying nearby him on the bed. And once Aunt Polly comes to check what happened to Tom, okay, he tells her, "Oh, Auntie, my sore toes modified. It has been decayed." Then Aunt Polly, she did not give importance to this boy's groaning pain or actually he pretends, okay. Immediately she said, "Shut up that nonsense. What are you saying?" Then Tom then proceeds to tell about his soul. He lost his tooth, hoping that maybe it will be provided him with an excuse to skip school. But to his unexpectations, what happened? Aunt Polly asked this boy to open his mouth, and he also idly opened his mouth. And Aunt Polly just pulled out the tooth. He pulled out the tooth and sends him off to school without an additional speech. So this is what happened. Then on the way to school, Tom meets Huckleberry Finn. And Huckleberry Finn is described by Mark Twain as juvenile pariah. Pariah is of low outcast we can say. Juvenile, young, okay. He is the juvenile pariah of the town. He was admired by all the children in the town of St. Petersburg's street, especially for his aloofness and also for his freedom. Because he did not go to school also, he did not have any other responsibility also. And at the same time, all the mothers, they hated this boy for his bad mannerism. And then Huckleberry is first shown in this chapter. He carried a dead cat. In a sack. This boy Huckleberry Finn, he carries a dead cat in a sack, okay, and with the intent of taking it to the cemetery that night, because this boy believed superstition. What is that means? He believes the superstition that when Satan comes, so he believes the superstition that when Satan comes to the cemetery, of course, the Sudagad where the dead bodies were buried, okay, to gather the corpses of evil persons. The cat will follow Satan, as will the Watts. See, Watts is nothing but a type of mole. ஒரு moleனா மச்சம், வாட்னா அந்த ஒரு மறு மாதிரி இருக்கும். Okay, to remove the Watts, these boys are doing such things. This boy, he believes this superstition. Okay, so on his way to school, Tom stops to talk with Huckleberry Finn. Huckleberry Finn is dressed in cast-off clothes, a wide-brimmed hat, okay, trousers with only one suspender, then baggy pants he is wearing. Baggy pants, the loose type, okay, which is not tight as if the boys wear now. Baggy pants and a worn coat, okay, worn out coat he is wearing. So this is what the cast-off clothes worn by Huckleberry Finn. And he does not go to school also because he does not have any responsibility, already I said. And Tom, who was forbidden to play with the Huckleberry Finn, begins to discuss the correct way to hear words. And the Huck also holds the dead cat in a burlap sack, the name of that sack. He is planning to entering a cemetery at midnight to perform a witch ritual to hear the words. Okay, to hear the words, he has planned to enter the cemetery and to perform the witch or a suniyakari mari or a ritual and the rites he is going to do. Okay, both the boys discuss the merits of diverse superstitions, and they also chanted strange chants before they agreed to meet later that midnight, okay, to set out to the cemetery together. So these two boys, they planned to go to cemetery in the midnight. So this is the first adventure Tom Sawyer, of course, carries. After saying goodbye to Huckleberry Finn, Tom runs to school, and it was very late. Tom was afraid of the teachers who will punish him because of his lateness. In that school, what is the practice? What they used to practice means the late comer, either it is a boy or a girl, okay, they have to sit. If it is boy, he has to sit on the girls section, and if it is a girl, she has to sit in the boys section. Okay, so this is the punishment for lateness usually given by the teachers in that school. So Tom explains why he was late. He was stopped by Huckleberry Finn, but the teacher does not mind. At the same time, Tom also does not mind to sit in the girls section because the next empty seat is next to Becky Thatcher, okay, whom he loved. This girl, the yellow-colored, pig-tailed girl that Tom has fallen in love, okay, with the Becky Thatcher. So he was very happy to sit nearby Becky Thatcher. After a period of playful show, okay, again, Tom draws a picture for her, and he also teaches her how to draw. And after a few while, he writes a love note, "I love you," on his slate, which is returned with Becky's pleasure also. These are all the things that happened, okay, in the school. So the remaining hours in the class is very futile. They were bored. Tom has not studied and makes errors in every area of his studies. Whatever the subject may be, either it is geography or English, spelling or reading test, he commits a lot of errors. Okay, he did not study his lessons properly also, and he ends up at the foot of the class in a spelling bee. Spelling bee, of course, a contest how to pronounce, how to spell the word correctly, like this. They had this lesson, and during the lunch hour, Tom and Becky Thatcher get to know each other, and Tom suggests that they become engaged. Engaged, of course, the meaning, betrothal in British English. In India also, betrothal we use. Engagement is a term used by the Americans. But these children do not know. So at this age, the students do not know what is the meaning for engagement, but they just played, okay, as if they have been engaged. Becky Thatcher also agrees, even though she does not know what is meant by the term engaged. Okay. When Tom mentions his earlier relationship with Amy Lawrence to this girl, first I loved Amy Lawrence. This girl, Becky Thatcher, she rejects him. So there is a little bit of a quarrel between these two children. So Tom was very much depressed why Becky Thatcher has rejected him. So again, he plays hooky that afternoon. He plays tricks and he thinks of dead Jimmy Hodges, who contemplates his own suicide, and how sorry Becky will be that she treated him so badly. So then Tom's solitude is disturbed by his close friend, bosom friend, Joe Harper, and they both spend the rest of the afternoon playing. So this is what the chapter ends. Now let us see Tom versus Huckleberry Finn. See the differences. In spite of their differences, Tom and Huckleberry Finn are good friends and influence each other. Tom is a socially accepted member of the society, whereas Huckleberry Finn is an outcast, juvenile pariah, in the words of Mark Twain. Tom lives in a home. He lives comfortably with a good bed, regular meals, loved by his Aunt Polly, who oversees his physical, emotional, and spiritual needs. But in contrast, Huckleberry has no home. He lives with his only father, Pap, P-A-P, Pap. Tom's life is bound by society, by rules. Huck's life is of freedom. He can come and go as he pleases. Because he does not attend the school. He does not have any other responsibility. Unlike Tom, Huckleberry, his life is uncomplicated one also. He has no ambition and no desire to be civilized also. Huckleberry Finn's different standard of living is exemplified by the way in which he and Tom discuss their various rituals and superstitious beliefs. Both Tom and Huck are the believers of mysterious, ஏதாவது கண்டுபிடிக்கணும், mystery, mysterious thing and mystery also. Okay, they believe in witches, spells. That's what the 18th century, late England, they had such impression on witches' spells. That's what Mark Twain has beautifully described in this novel also. They believe in witches spellbound, bad luck, and they also tried to cure everyday ailments like warts by performing strange incantations. Incantations na mandiram, okay, chanting. No matter how far-fetched their ideas sound, Tom and Huckleberry discuss their secret rituals and chants with the utmost seriousness. And in one sense, their belief in the unbelievable reflects their impressionability and innocence also. The son of the town drunkard, his father Pap Huckleberry Finn abides by no authority, and he is envied by all of the respectable boys of St. Petersburg. Huck is free. This is what very important. All the other boys, they envied uh, the freedom of Huckleberry Finn. The epitome of childhood. Epitome means the perfect example. The epitome of childhood and mischief. Huckleberry Finn lives under different social standards than other citizens. the epitome of childhood and mischief. Huckleberry lives under different social standards than other citizens. He does not attend the church also regularly. He never goes to church, wears hand-me-down rags, the worn-out cloth already described, and he also smokes a pipe. Tom and Huckleberry Finn still think and act with a kind of immaturity, and this chapter seems to remind the readers that they are, after all, just children, presently children. And this chapter also presents Mark Twain's use of superstition, a theme that is treated lightly here, but one that gains thematic importance later in the novel. The superstition become the superstitions become important to the novel because they move the adventures forward. For example, they have planned to go to the cemetery in the midnight no. Later in the novel, we could see these two boys were witnessing the murder of Dr. Robinson, and thus this is chapter creates one of the central adventures made by Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn in this novel. Okay, I shall stop up to this